Hello and welcome to Medicine Across Borders,
where we explore the global tapestry of healthcare
and challenges shaping healthcare systems worldwide.
Share your thoughts and rate us on our social platforms to help us continue bringing you content on global healthcare.
Hello and welcome to Medicine Across Borders. I'm today's host, Eddie Dabrowski, and with me today we have Kacper Cyprian Różnowicz, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Hello, everyone. Hello, Eddie. What's good?
So the reason why I kind of reached out to you was I saw that you are part of what is the Lublin and China degree. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce the Chinese university. Maybe you can help out with that one.
And it's called Wenzhou Medical University, or if you want the full Chinese name, they would say Wenzhou Ike, which is just Chinese for Wenzhou Medical University. And the program is called just dual degree program. They also have like a Chinese name for it, Huatuo, which named after the surgeon, the traveling surgeon, Chinese traveling surgeon, who was called Huatuo. And yeah, Huatuo program. Yeah.
Because this was like when I discovered it, I was like, this is crazy, right? That was my initial reaction. So it's like, I've talked to a lot of people. I feel like I have a decent idea about all of English division in here in Poland, and then out of nowhere, I hear that there's this dual degree and where you spend, is it the first year in China, then 3 years in Lublin, and then 2 years in China, something like that?
Yes, exactly. That's how they initially tried to divide it, but well, we had some trouble with the global pandemic to realize the initial division of how it's supposed to be, and we ended up studying the first year in China. Then we stayed for the second, third, fourth, and fifth in Poland, in Lublin, and then for the last one, just now, we've been back in China. It's epic.
I mean, I almost don't know where to start because it's different in the sense of everyone who studies here in Poland, they'll typically get MD lekar, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in your case, you're also getting your MD and MBBS.
Yeah, I don't know. They came up with it. But yeah, the MBBS degree is given by the Chinese university, and the MD is given to us by the Medical University of Lublin. And so we right now have the option to either stay in Europe, work in Europe, do a stage, whatever, integrate here, or if you really enjoyed China, or even in the future later on, still have the possibility to just switch over to the Chinese system and continue there to practice and so on.
Okay, so before we get into the differences, I mean, what drew you towards this degree?
Quite frankly, it was randomness at the universe. I don't know. Suddenly it appeared on my laptop. I was I thought this looks interesting. I looked into it, was reading about it. I just wanted to combine traveling with my medical studies because I was worried that I don't have enough time to travel around and so on. So I thought this is perfect. I just have it traveling integrated, and I've never been to Asia and so on, and China is a quickly developing country, and they already are starting to get ahead of us and so on in the medical field and so on, and technology and
so most people would usually opt for a 1 week holiday, and you've gone, let's do a degree there.
yeah, why not? No risk, no fun. I mean, it could have been pretty bad, I guess, for people that are worried about that they struggle too much with emerging into a completely different culture and staying there for a longer time. For those people, it's not a program for those people. It's for those adventurous people, for those who like to risk something, for those who really want to have a completely different experience.
So, because you spent kind of your first year and your last year there, you do have I think a good insight into, the differences really. So what is your initial reaction to the question of what's the difference between studying the medicine in Poland versus while you're in China?
The differences, well, for me, as I'm a Polish-born German studying in Poland, I don't feel that much of a language barrier when communicating with the patients in the hospital. In China, obviously, it's a big barrier that you have to overcome either by studying Chinese, learning very hard, and improving quickly and adapting. But you have a good support system over there too. You have the doctors that can translate and so on. They help you out, so it works. It works just fine. But I personally feel like the better you can speak the language yourself, the language that the patients are speaking, the nicer the experience is at the very end. And what else? The other differences. Well, the hospitals are very, very modern these days. They have robots driving around, helping the nurses to get their jobs done. And what else? It's a lot, it's a very big hospital over there, multiple very big hospitals. I have spent mainly my time in the first affiliated hospital. It's been the third biggest hospital in whole Asia, I believe. It's what it was, at least when I started this dual degree program. And some people like to say it's as big as an airport or something. It's very huge, and they keep building and increasing it and so on. So yeah, you see a lot. You have a lot of all the diseases, very wide spectrum. They do the crazy stuff that only certain hospitals in Europe do. In Poland, it's the hospital in Warsaw that do a lot of heart transplantations or whatever, liver transplantations. You have that there as well. So yeah, you have the full scope of medical interventions, and you can just see plenty of things.
How big is the city that hospital effectively provides services
in
for?
square kilometers, miles? Or do you mean population-wise?
Population-wise, yeah.
Population-wise, 10 million people in the province of Wenzhou, and the province is a little bit bigger. Just the city, you could say downtown, it's 3 million people that live there. And yeah, the hospitals that you're studying at, spending time, are those that are in the inner circle of the city, so the 3 million people area.
I mean, that's huge for Europe.
Yeah, it is huge for Europe. I think Berlin has 3.5 million people. I'm staying in Germany right now, so that's why I'm thinking about Berlin. Also, I don't even know Warsaw, how many
I
people.
think maybe Warsaw's
Warsaw. So it is huge, and Wenzhou is huge, and no one really knows it. So yeah.
At least not in Europe, but surely in China it must be.
Yeah, it's a known city in China. Yeah, it's close for those people that don't know where Wenzhou is or anything like that. It's very close to Shanghai. It's 3 hours by train, high-speed train, and so it's south to Shanghai, 3 hours by train, and 2 hours by plane or something, and then it's opposite to Taiwan, the island of Taiwan. So roughly in that corner. Yeah.
So
it's nice.
Do you need to
beach and so on. Yeah.
Do you need to learn Chinese? I'm assuming Mandarin, or is it more a case of you don't have to, but the more you do, the more you get out of it?
Tricky question, but I would say yes. You do have to learn Mandarin, Chinese. You have to pass courses in Chinese.
So do you have courses in Mandarin?
Yeah. So it starts off with in the first year with basic Chinese, where you have HSK 1 level Chinese. HSK 1, HSK is the equivalent to language certification center like Cambridge or something like that. Yeah. So it's a language center that certifies you with your language skills. And yeah, first you have HSK 1, which is the basic level, and then you have up to 6 levels. HSK 6 is something that not even native Chinese people struggle with passing. And for us, the dual degree students, we're supposed to pass HSK 4, which includes memorizing 1,200 Chinese characters after 6 years.
Okay, so at the end of those 6 years, you have to that exam.
You have to, yeah. I actually want you to pass that, yeah. But at the very beginning, you don't have to be that worried about it. It also kind of comes quite naturally if you're there in China. You're surrounded by Chinese everywhere, so.
So when we look at Poland. I think Poland is quite good in the sense of if you go out of your way and you make kind of good contacts with doctors and you befriend them, I think it's quite easy to get a lot of practical experience, like surgery experience and things like that. So what is it like there in China? Are they more, let's say, lax with the rules and allow you to do more practical skills, or are they very kind of strict?
No, they are really, really relaxed people over there. It seems like maybe it's because you don't really understand everything they're saying to each other and so on, maybe. But no, I think they are very, very relaxed, even more than here in Europe. They allow you to do a lot. It's also a little bit, they treat you a little bit privileged, maybe, especially if you're like a white European person or something. Chinese people really like honor it because they don't have a lot of like European people tourism over there in Wenzhou, so they feel very honored if they have the opportunity to show you something or teach you something, and it's good for those people that are like proactive and actually want to do a lot of things because they usually allow you to do a lot of things.
So when it comes to like your class, because I believe, did you graduate just recently, or are you still a student? Sorry, I wasn't quite sure.
No, I just graduated this year, just a month ago.
I thought so. I saw you on. That's how I found you. On their, they have a Facebook page, huge Facebook page. I was like, damn, how have they got such a huge following on the Facebook?
Really? Which Facebook page? I have to check that later on.
I googled it. I said it like dual degree, yeah, Lublin. It was like 16,000 followers or something.
What? Okay, crazy.
How big are your class sizes then?
The class sizes, some are bigger, some are smaller. The basic science classes at the very beginning, you're like a dual degree program. It's like integrated into courses with other programs, like with the standard MBBS program and so on. Like you start off with biology or organic chemistry and so on, and you have like 50 people in a class or maybe less. Yeah. And then later on, as you advance into like rotations and so on, clinical rotations, you have smaller and smaller classes. And for the dual degree program, sometimes we have like also like separate courses because we have a different program, different subjects from time to time that only we have, kind of. Then we have like very small classes because the program itself doesn't have a lot of students yet. Yeah, like when I graduated, we were like 7 people at the very end. So it's like now after like COVID and so on, because of safety, they sometimes even split the groups even more, and then you have like only 3 people at times in the hospital. Yeah, so
because
in big classes and
because smaller. In Lublin you have a lot of different divisions. There's international, Gulf, and so there's a lot of English divisions,
American,
right?
And so on.
Yeah. So what about when you were studying in Wenzhou? Is there an English division there anyway, or are you sharing classes with local students?
No, there is an English division, yeah, for sure. It's a lot of Africans and Indians that are in the English division, and then you also have a lot of from South Africa, Canada, and often also like from Cuba and Mexico and so on.
Okay, and just kind of out of curiosity, do you know where these people plan to work after they graduate? Like, you know, are all these students in the English division there, are they planning to stay in China and Asia, or do they have other kind of goals?
So plenty of them like to continue living in China. It's easier for them because they spend so much time, 6 years in China. They know Chinese and so on. Just continue doing their master's degree and PhD over there. But the other half, let's say, they just go back to their home countries and try to do something over there, which is great in that system over there. You know. Forgot to mention, there are also a lot of like Thai people, Myanmarese, and so on.
So what do you think that you, in a way, gained, or what were the benefits of the fact that you got to spend so much time in China versus, you know, doing the whole degree in Poland, for example?
The benefits,
and the negatives, sure, if there are.
Okay. So, I can start off with one negative point. Was like the moving around, like towards 6th year and so on. Like I grew up in Germany, then I had to like move to Poland, and then from moved to China, and then after first year moved to Poland, and then after another years moved to back to China, and now I'm moved back to Germany. So it's a lot of moving around. Yeah, it's not for everyone. It's always like the first month of like the academic year that's a little bit more stressful and awkward a little bit because you to get used to the new environment and you have to figure out apartments and this and that. But the big benefit is like I surely can say that I could go like even maybe to South America somewhere in some random country, and I surely know how to like figure everything out and do know what to do to like set up my life and settle wherever I want around the world. And so it's a very big like confidence boost for yourself. You get to know and learn Chinese, a different culture, and spend a lot of time on the other side of the planet, which is also nice. What else? Chinese, yeah. It's a personal thing. I think everyone has to see for themselves. I guess there are a lot of benefits to just studying in Poland in one country as well. Yeah. I know. Well, meeting a lot of different like people. Like I have like a very big like network now and connections all around the world. Like it's great. It's very very nice. And if I think about like starting research projects and so on, I can like interconnect things. It gives me like further opportunities to do more and yeah, nice stuff.
As a slight technical question, what about the situation regarding like visas and temporary residency cards? What was that process like? Is that something that's difficult, or how does it look?
It depends on the country that you're staying or the citizen that you are. Depends on that because there are different regulations for each country, for each nation. Yeah, depends on the relationship of like, for example, Poland, or if you're a Polish citizen towards China at that time. But right now, I think I had to pay like 120 euros for the visa, and you have to like, it's like a whole shebang's process of applying. You have to apply for the visa at the visa center, the local visa center, which usually is like in the closer, bigger town. Like for me, it was like Frankfurt am Main. I think in Poland it might be either Warsaw or Wrocław, where you have to apply for those things and then you have to pick it up. Or sometimes I think they can also like send you back because you have to give them your passport and so on. They give you like a sticker in it. Actually, I can show you how mine looked like because my passport expired. So first year it looked like this. Yeah. Kind of like this. I have like, and then further on, if you're in China, you have to get like a residency permit. You have to like convert your visa, your initial visa, into this residency permit that you can, so that you can stay there for a year. It looks like that. And then further on, now the newest residency permit looks like this. Yeah. So.
Okay.
So yeah, you have to make sure that your passport is like up to date and doesn't expire in like the next 3 months or something before you travel to China. But even if it would expire, you could go to your embassy in China and apply there for a new passport and sort it out. So did I answer your question?
Yeah. But I'm curious if when you're in China, are you able to leave, for example, for Christmas, winter break?
Yeah, sure.
Things like that to go home.
With this residency permit.
Yeah.
With this permit, you can like go in and out of China as many times as you please. It's easy.
Okay.
It's
And
like
is it quick to get? Because in Poland you have that issue where people are applying for it, and they might get the short end of the stick, and they're waiting even a year for it. And I'm just kind of curious there.
I think for the visa itself, it's like a 30-day visa that you initially like apply for. But this could take up to like 3 weeks or something till it comes back to you, like the passport with the visa itself. At least, well, from my point of view, it took like not more than 3 weeks, and that's like the German embassies that dealt with it. I'm not certain about the Polish things, but I think it shouldn't take more than like a month to get the passport back with your visa in it, the sticker on it. And then when you're in China, it's quite like it's really quick. You just have to go to the visa center and like apply for your residency permit, and then after a week you can actually pick it up, and so all done and good.
Okay, and when you get like your temporary residency card, then in Europe you can just travel all around Europe because of Schengen, right? But can you travel from China to the kind of countries close by, or are you getting separate visas for each country, really?
Good question. You have to check on the internet, like your embassies, what they say, or your government. They have nothing similar like Schengen there in Asia and China. This residency permit is just strictly for China. You can go in and out of China as many times as you want. And then, but if you enter like, I don't know, let's say Hong Kong, for example, or Taiwan, or Vietnam, or Thailand, and so on, I think then in this new country, you again have like a short touristic visa or so on that applies there. It really depends on the deals that your nation's made with that particular country that you travel to. Yeah, so you have to inform yourself before you leave China and to a different country. But usually for like short-term stays, like if, for example, you want to visit the Philippines or something for a weekend or something, it's no big problem. You just go fly out of China to the Philippines, have a good time at the beach, and then you come back and it's all good.
And when it comes to life in China, maybe let's start off with kind of like prices. How are we looking? Is living cheaper? Is it more expensive?
Very cheap, yeah. I think for my apartment, which was quite luxurious, you could say, it was a loft apartment, was spending like 250 euros per month for like rent. Also, I was lucky to receive a scholarship. That was also nice. It was 2,500 yuan, Chinese yuan per month, which is like divided by 8. It's like roughly 300 euros or something. So that covers already like the rent. But you could also decide to stay at the dormitories over there, which are even cheaper. Like I think you spend like 500 Chinese yuan to stay at the dormitories, like 500 Chinese yuan per month that you have to pay. Eating, drinking, and so on, food and supplies are very like cheap. Yeah, it's cheaper than here in Europe. But the funny thing is, if you really want like Western things, European things, I don't know, like some Nivea cream or some toothpaste or something, a nice one that you know from Europe or something. Those products might be a little bit more expensive than the Chinese equivalent over there. So the Chinese things are cheap. Living there is very cheap, especially if you like fully immerse in the Chinese culture and just live by the Chinese style, kind of like food and whatnot. Yeah, but if you try to keep like some Western lifestyle over there, then it might be a little bit more pricey.
So what do you think you're going to miss the most from China?
Oh, there's a lot of things that I'm missing, like the food, the culture of how they eat, because the difference how they eat is like you usually gather at the table and all the dishes are like in big bowls or something in the middle of the table, and everyone gets his chopsticks, and a little bowl with rice and another bowl that is empty, and this empty bowl you have like to like take with your chopsticks something from the middle, whatever you like fancy, and then you eat it. You drop it in the empty bowl and you eat it. So it's like everyone is eating from one bowl, which is like a nice atmosphere. It's kind of funny. That's nice, and the food over there is super delicious. They have a lot of different things, a lot of weird things that you can try out. Eating bugs or whatever. Yeah, it's very nice. Especially if you have a fable for spicy food, and they have a lot of spicy food over there. It's also nice. What else will I miss? The people over there are very relaxed, very, very relaxed, very decelerated, it seems like, kind of. It's very chill over there, which is
That's
different
interesting
from
because
time to time. Yeah.
I feel like there is that stereotype, right, that they're very hardworking, very efficient. Yeah. So would you say that's not exactly true, that they're a bit more laid back than the stereotypes say?
I often have see situations like if I'm in the bank or something, and like here in Europe, in Germany or something, and people have like they have tight schedules or something, and have not a lot of time or something. They usually like freak and stress out in the bank, and they do like a whole scene about it, which is like not the case in China, not at all. Like they're very like chilled, and it seems like it's more stress free. Yeah.
On that note, because you said that people can either, work postgraduate in, for example, Europe, or they can stay in China, right? So, do you know what the differences are between kind of like the working environment in China versus, I know Europe is a wide place, but a varied place, or what kind of like the salary differences, something like that? Do you have some sort of insight?
The salary differences, not huge, not huge. There are some like differences because of the currency exchange and currency rate, but salaries are almost like the same. Yeah, there are no big differences. What else? They have like a little bit of different working rhythm over there. Like here in Poland, in Europe, we have like Sundays off or something like that because of the Christian culture. In China, it's usually like 24/7. Yeah. If they have a day off, it's usually Monday, which is like a little bit more quiet. I heard from a lot of Chinese doctors that if they have holidays or something, if they apply for holidays or if they are forced to take holidays, it's usually not more than like 1 week, and then they go back to work. Like, I think in Europe, some doctors have like more than 1 week at least of holidays or something like that.
You say
but
1
besides
week for
that,
like the whole year, or you mean like 1 week in one go?
one week, and usually they take 1 whole week for the whole year. Yeah, they don't split it over the whole year, so they take 1 week. Yeah, as a
Because I
whole.
think in Europe, usually it's like around about 28 days is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
amount.
So that's what applies for Chinese doctors. I think it might be similar for international doctors as well. For people that are in residency and so on, they don't have to worry so much because it's usually quite chill. Yeah, it's not. They don't. They won't like force you to work to death or anything like that. Don't worry about this. Yeah. I think they have like a 2 day working and then 1 day off kind of rhythm for residents, or 5 days work week like here as well. Depends on how your shifts look like, and yeah, it's like how you individually like organize yourself. Yeah, it's up to you and how you communicate with the departments. So yeah, I'm not certain if I satisfactorily answered your question. If I'm missing something, you can just ask and inquire again.
I mean, you mentioned that the salaries are probably similar to Europe, but stuff is generally cheaper. So would you say that that therefore doctors in China have got what we call like high purchase power?
Yeah, I think they have high purchase power. Yeah, they do. But that's like I had an interesting conversation with a neurosurgeon when I was assisting brain surgery, and he was like, I don't know, he came up with the topic of, I guess he was interested how I live there in China and what kind of apartment and so on, and just asked him back how he lives in China. He was like, yeah, I have this 3 billion yuan mansion downtown or something. It was quite funny. Everyone was laughing in the operating theater, but yeah. So they have high purchase power.
And for your course, like specifically in the dual degree program, where are the students from? Is it are you the only one who's like a Polish German, or are there more, or what countries typically apply for this program?
Yeah, in my batch, 2018, we just graduated. We had we were like 12 people at the beginning. We had let me see, 3 Germans. One of them was a Polish-born German, me. Then we had one dude from London, England, one girl from Barcelona, Spain, and then we had someone from Bangkok, Thailand. We had a girl from Myanmar, and we had 2 more girls from Thailand as well. Yeah.
So you mentioned yourself like why you applied, right? But why do you think your colleagues applied as well? What do you think was the reason that they picked this dual degree?
I think it was partly novelty, yeah, of this program, and it's quite special, and also I think pretty much the same reasons as I had, yeah.
A sense of adventure.
sense of adventure, yeah, combining traveling and experiencing the world with medical studies.
Are you the first graduating batch, or have there been previous years as well?
Yeah, there was two previous batches, but they were way smaller. I think the 2017 batch was like 3 people, and I think the batch before that was maybe 1 person. So yeah.
And so, what kind of things would you love to just bring over from China to your? Even from a medical perspective, I mean, you mentioned the robots, and straight away I'm like,
Yeah.
what is this, the future? Or?
Yeah, I wish we would like invest more in like technical advancement in the hospitals, like integrating AI and so on, just to make the workflow easier. You know, so that like for easier tasks or simple tasks, that those tasks are done by like robots or something. That would be cool. And so doctors and nurses have more time for the patient care itself, like for the more important things, and don't have to, for example, run around and find some material. Now you have a robot that just goes to the storage room or something and brings it to you. Like little things like that can have like huge impacts. That would be nice. And also, yeah, just upgrading our hospitals in general. Like I know in Poland, they're right now in the process of renovating and so on. We have a lot of old buildings, and I think we need to step up and upgrade more and have nice, clean hospitals.
Okay.
What else is that? I think the doctors in Europe, not all of them, but some are very like strict. Maybe a little bit too strict. They stress out the students a lot, which is, I mean, it's fair because of the responsibility and so on that you have towards the patient and so on. But there's a thin line, and oftentimes in Europe, they feel like they might cross it a little bit with like they are too strict, too stressing, freaking out students, which is not the case really in China. Just relax a little bit.
So if you had to do it again, you would pick the dual degree again?
Yeah, sure.
And so who do you think... You applied, your colleagues applied from that sense of adventure. Who do you think is the person that should apply for this kind of degree?
I think I initially mentioned that people that, if you're like out of high school, you're young, you want to see the world, you want to travel, and you're interested in medicine, that's perfect. Apply for a dual degree. You're gonna have a wonderful time, meet wonderful people, have great experience. You're gonna boost your confidence. You're gonna feel like you can conquer the world after successfully completing the program. It has more advantages than disadvantages. Sure, it's awkward from time to time. Yeah, moving around places, studying a lot. Yeah, medicine is also not the easiest degree subject. Yeah, to study for the exams and so on. You have to pass LEC and this and that, but it's worth it. It's definitely worth it.
Maybe I'll ask one last kind of question of before you went to China for that start. It's been a while now, but what were your kind of concerns going into it?
My concerns?
Like, did you have any worries and things like that? There's a lot is said in the media about China.
Yeah.
Lots of things.
Thank you for reminding me. Yeah. You are concerned about how strict the police is. What can you do? How careful do you have to be? Behave. Are they actually spying on you? Is every word like, every bad word that you accidentally speak or something used against you or like that? I don't know. No, you have those worries. I heard about people that were like drug tested randomly. Sometimes like to drug test people randomly, and the local police station and the university town over there in China. If you smoked weed, for example, before you travel to China, it's a little bit risky because you might be tested positive, and then you get into detention, and I think you have to spend 3 days in kind of jail or something, and then you have to pay a fine and get deported. So you have to watch out a little bit with what you do when you party or something before you travel to China. That you should watch out for. Yeah, those are probably like the biggest worries that I had, like the political police things. I wasn't sure how people over there would behave, but the police, everyone is like super nice, super friendly. Usually, don't try to give you like a hard time. It's quite the opposite. They actually try to give you an easy time. Yeah, they are very guest friendly. What else? Well, I didn't really know if I come along like with like communicating with people. Like, when I landed in China on the airport, it was a little bit of a crazy experience because the cab drivers, they usually don't speak English at all. Like most of the Chinese people don't really speak English. So luckily we have these things these days. You have a translating app and you just like translate. You have the address of your apartment. You just show him, the cab driver, the address, and then you go. And yeah, so with the phone in your pocket and the translator working, it really helps a lot, especially at the beginning. And then the more you learn Chinese, the easier it becomes. And yeah, that was also a worry for me. Like, how do I communicate with those people at the very beginning? Because I didn't know any Chinese back then. So
I mean, you showed your phone.
yeah.
What about stuff like with the phone? Because I've heard that like they don't have full internet access, or you can use things like Netflix, YouTube, or Uber and things like that.
You can trick this a little bit, the Chinese firewall. Yeah, you can
Right.
download a VPN, which is forbidden for Chinese citizens, for tourists and international students and so on. It's kind of like fine to use it because they understand that we are like interconnected with families through like Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp or whatnot, which doesn't work in China if you don't have like a VPN to jump over or through the Chinese firewall. What they use in China is called WeChat, which is like similar to Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp in Europe. This WeChat app is also simultaneously your wallet. Like everything is like through QR codes and so on. You just tap, they scan the QR codes, and you have paid your groceries. So you don't run around with a wallet in China, you're just with your phone in your pocket. They also use Alipay. Alipay is, I don't know, maybe you have heard of it. Yeah, it's like a wallet, a digital wallet. What else? Yeah, all your banking things. You have to set up an account in China, like a bank account. I've set mine up at the Bank of China. I know people like to set up bank accounts at the ICBC bank over there, which yeah, you have to receive like any like scholarships, or if you want to exchange euros into Chinese yuan or something, it makes it a lot easier.
Go on.
And then as soon as you have,
Yeah. Sorry, go on. I was going to ask if you have any kind of like, if someone was thinking about maybe doing this degree, right? Then, or maybe they're just starting. Like, what would be your recommendations just off the bat for them?
try to learn a little bit Chinese, like the basics. Say ni hao, hello, yeah, and the numbers, yeah, and so on, up to 10 or something. That helps. Go on to the visa center homepage of your country. Read the informations over there. They usually tell you a lot. What to do and how to prepare. Get some apps that are frequently used there, like WeChat, Alipay. They usually also have like Baidu. Have you heard about Baidu? Baidu, it's like Google. It's the Chinese version of Google. It's like Google Maps, but they call it Baidu
Is
Maps.
it spelled with a W?
Baidu.
Is it like Weibo, or is that something else? Like W
No,
E?
no. It's spelled Baidu. Baidu.
Okay.
It's just like Google Maps, but it also has like a Uber service incorporated in it, so you can like call cabs and so on, which is very easy then to move around in Wenzhou. What else? And maybe like food delivery services also like, quite popular. We have the app called Erlema, which translates to "Are you hungry?" And yeah, but most importantly, get like a free VPN or something. Don't get like a mainstream VPN like NordVPN or anything like that, because those are like highly
like blocked
targeted
by China.
by the Chinese government, cybersecurity or something. They usually like kind of like disable those mainstream VPN services. Get some less known free VPN service on the App Store, download it, and try to use the free version at first. If you really struggle with it and it doesn't really work, think about maybe paying €5 or something for it to get the upgraded version. Those upgraded versions usually work seamlessly. And then, I think that's basically it, And try to enjoy your time. Don't get too frustrated or don't freak out. Those Chinese people, they really like to help you, Oh, yeah. Use Apple Translate or any translating app, helps you. And to overcome the problem of not having any mobile data or internet or anything, you should get like a Chinese SIM card as soon as possible. Sort this out. You have internet on your phone. Otherwise, you have to kind of like figure out things with the airport Wi-Fi at first. But the university, when you land in Wenzhou, usually there comes someone from the university to pick you up and show you around, so you're not completely lost. But if you I decided to visit Wenzhou a little bit earlier before the semester started. If you come by yourself that early, like I was like 2 weeks earlier, I think, or something, you have to figure out stuff by yourself a little bit more. Yeah.
So it goes. Okay. I think we have a much clearer picture than we did at the beginning.
I hope I could answer the questions satisfactorily.
It's something which it's, as I was saying at the beginning, it's my first reaction was like just wow. Like I didn't have any idea that this is an option. And I remember reading somewhere that maybe this was the initial plan as well, that you would potentially be able to do 1 year in China, then the 3 years in Poland, 1 year in China, and potentially 1 year in the US if someone opted for it as well.
Oh yeah, that's good that you mentioned it. Yeah. People have the chance to do like their rotations in Australia or the US in the last year. Yeah. Well,
do you remember what the tuition is like? Is it the same throughout the whole studies?
It increases a little bit because you start your clinical rotations. They have to pay the doctors and so on to teach you. So it becomes a little bit more expensive towards the end. And it starts off like with 10K for the first year, and then it goes like plus 1K each year. So roughly. So you end up spending 14K, I think, for the 6th year.
Okay.
It's pricey, yeah. I was lucky to receive a scholarship, so kind of like mellowed the tuition fee costs down and so on.
So you mentioned that actually you can, for the US, you have the USMLE and things like that, but, for Australia, do you know if you're able to start working in Australia, for example, like after you graduate?
They have like a similar system like the US. You have to go through the licensing exam, the Australian one, and then if you pass it, you can work in Australia.
Okay. So I don't think there are many people, especially from Poland, who have spent a bit of time in China, and so the only thing I know about China is just what I read. So it's definitely something. It's great to be able to talk to someone who's had their own experience with both countries, and could kind of give their insight into how it's like. So
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. What we are reading about China is often very like hypercritical about it, and China is bad and so on. Sure, they are our like biggest competitor, but people over there are very nice, and you're having a good time, a blast over there. So don't be too worried. It's easy there. And it was nice talking to you today, Eddie.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right then. All the best to you, and
thank you
very much.
To you too.